Hello there, guys, and I'm glad to say that I've recently hit 50 platinum trophies. Today, we'll be going over 25 more platinum trophies. If you've missed the other tier list video that I made, I'll just link it up right here. You can watch it if you want, but nevertheless, let's get straight into it. I'll scroll down just a little bit for you guys so you can see the full catalogue of games that we're going to talk about today. And I'll just go over these one by chronological order. So my 26th platinum was Team Sonic Racing and ending it with Persona 5 Royal as my 50th. Let's just have a little roll call. So, Team Sonic Racing, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, The Sims 4, South Park The Stick of Truth, Yakuza 0, The Godfather 2 on PS3, It Takes Two, Going Under, Curse of the Dead Gods, A Way Out, Heavenly Bodies, God of War 2018, Overcooked 2, Ape Escape, Death Stranding, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, Bloodborne, Borderlands 3, City Skylines, Cuphead, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Mighty Number 9, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, Life is Strange, and finally, Persona 5 Royal. Right, guys, let's get straight into this. We're going to just do it chronologically. Let's start with Team Sonic Racing. If you've seen my video about this game, it was kind of like a hard sell. The game is good at the very start. It's a fine game, but when you're going for the platinum and even going through the story, the AI can be really unforgiving. You're dependent on your AI teammates to do well in races, and that makes the game needlessly difficult. Even if you win first place and your team places like last, you won't win the race and you'll have to do the race over again. And imagine doing that in Grand Prix, and Grand Prix are like 4 races. So you have to do those 4 races again because you didn't win the Grand Prix. So it's really needless how difficult this platinum was, and it was a bit grindy. Don't even get me started on the challenge runs. Some of the challenge runs were really difficult. And I would say the hardest ones were actually the earliest ones. So some of the first challenges that you ever do in the game are actually some of the hardest in my opinion. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to put this in mid. Me and Serena did play a little bit of multiplayer in this game, and we did have fun. So the kart racing aspect for like a couple of hours, like one game session, it is fine. But then after that session, you've already tried basically all of the tracks, and there's not much like nuance in the game. Yes, there's team boost, but you can kind of exploit that. Even when you do exploit the team boost and get like the maximum amount of team boosts per race, you're still not even guaranteed to win the race as a team if you're using the AI. So it was a massive headache, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad game. I think the platinum is a little bit tricky and a little bit needlessly grindy, but I think the game itself, I don't think it hurts anyone really. So I think mid is a pretty decent place for this game. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I wouldn't not recommend it. It's a strange one. So yes, Team Sonic Racing, 26th platinum. Here we go. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. This is actually a standalone DLC game based on Borderlands. So I think it's specifically Borderlands 2. And they decided to make this standalone game. I think it was in promotion for, I think it was like Wonderlands. So yeah, so I think that's why they did it. I got this game through the PlayStation monthly games, and I think it's okay. For what it is, it's fine. But would I necessarily recommend it? there was some really grindy things in this game, like even getting the max level. Normally I don't mind going for max level grinds, but in this game there was actually no point to get max level except for getting the trophy. Yeah, it was really strange how they did the kind of like the new game, like the new game plus grinds. Yeah. And there was, I think there's one missable trophy. So if you choose the wrong option, then you won't actually be able to get that trophy. You have to acquire like a mysterious amulet, and if you do the wrong thing, you can't get it. So yeah, there was this RNG trophy where you have to kill a chubby skeleton, and the chubby skeletons only spawn. They spawn instead of a regular skeleton, and they're some of the rarest enemies in the game. And there's a trophy for killing a chubby. I was quite lucky in getting the chubby. I only had to restart maybe like one area, I would say like 4 or 5 times. So it didn't take me that long, but I saw on forums that people were just going at it like, tens of times, 20, 30, so I think that trophy can give you a bit of a headache. So I was a bit lucky with that one. Either way, this game's hard to recommend, but again, very similar to Team Sonic Racing. I don't think it's a bad game necessarily, so I'm going to put it as mid. Sims 4, right, yeah. I think this is going to go straight into mid. Serena managed to actually get most of the trophies in this game, so she basically got the platinum, yeah. And it was funny watching her play because both of us were just making fun of the game. She did know about the gallery exploit that you can do to make the platinum much easier, and she only did that at the very tail end of the game. She did most of the trophies. I would say like 3/4 of the trophies, or even more, like 4/5 of the trophies legitimately, which was quite impressive. So not even using the gallery for some of the other stuff. And yeah, so she did most of the game legitimately. And it was only for like certain trophies that were especially time consuming. That's when she decided to go for the gallery. I think the most notable one was the triplets one. Yeah, she just didn't want to bother with that, so she just used the gallery for that. And yeah, it's a fine game, but you might as well play the game on PC because the PS4 port is just not great. There's like performance issues as well, and even so, The Sims 4 is not really a great Sims game. Yeah, my personal favorite is Sims 2. I think that's kind of the popular opinion, but yeah, Sims 4, it's fine. Like, it's okay, it's all right. Next up, we've got South Park: The Stick of Truth. Okay, right. I'm kind of in two minds with this game. If you've watched one of my past videos talking about this game, you would know that I had a glitch with this game where I couldn't pick up one of the gym Pokemon, and that meant I couldn't get the All Friends trophy because you have to collect all of the gym Pokemon to get the friend request, and you become friends with like the gym Pokemon company and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Thankfully, in my casual playthroughs, I had another save. So I reverted to that save, and somehow I managed to do all of the missable stuff on that save. So that saved quite a bit of time, because I was thinking, oh my god, like I need to start another new game, because I made a new save just for the platinum, because I wanted just to replay the game again. But yeah, so that glitch really didn't do the game any favors. And in general, there are like a lot of missable stuff, so you kind of need to be glued to a guide or take notes about the missable stuff. So that kind of takes points away from the game. Comparing this game to the Fractured Butthole, the Fractured Butthole did the trophy list so much better, and arguably this is a funner game, Fractured Butthole. So with all of that in mind, it's a good game, but because of the glitches and the missable stuff, I can only say recommend. It is a great game, but just those shortcomings, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Yep, it's not a strong recommend, but it is a recommend. Yakuza 0. What else can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? Yep, this is I want to say my 30th platinum. Yeah, so it would be 30th because I'm pretty sure Death Stranding is 40th. So yes, Yakuza 0, strong recommend. Yep, the platinum itself, it will take you a long time. I think the platinum though is quite impressive to have on your profile. Even having any Yakuza game platinum is just really impressive in my eyes, just because of the nature of the game and how time consuming it is. And there are difficult points in the game, so it can be kind of like a skill issue if you can't get past that hurdle and you need to practice. So yeah, the game though, really enjoyable. I have heard on forums that this game, or just this franchise in general, people love it or they hate it. So I think the strong recommend is just my personal bias. I love Yakuza now after completing Kiwami and Yakuza 0. I still need to get the platinum for Kiwami. We'll get to that soon. But yeah, like I just love the franchise now. So I will be playing more of the Yakuza games. When I get the Kiwami Platinum, I will be going straight into Like a Dragon. That is quite a leap forward because there's like a bunch of games before Like a Dragon, but I just really want to play that new gameplay style with Like a Dragon and like the turn-based stuff, and it just looks really good. So yes, Yakuza 0. The most tricky trophy in the game is to get 100% completion on the completion list. That literally means doing everything possible in the game, basically. So yeah, that will be time consuming. I can't remember what mini games I struggled with, but there's like certain mini games and certain like gambling mini games that were a bit annoying. I can't remember what was it. So I think Shogi was fine. But there was another one. Was it Koi Koi? Was it Koi Koi? I can't remember. But yeah, like that one was really tricky. It was to the point that I had to actually watch YouTube videos of people playing the game in real life to understand the rules. It was kind of strange, man. Yeah, that level of dedication, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I would do that with any other type of game, but I can do it with Yakuza, man. Yeah. Great game, amazing game. I love the story. I love the characters. I don't even mind like the pacing. So sometimes there's like a slower pace in certain chapters, but I actually didn't mind that. Yeah, just a brilliant game. In my opinion, like it's just an amazing game. It's a must buy, must play, in my opinion. The Godfather 2, right? This might surprise a few people. I used to play this game back on Xbox 360, and this game caught me off guard back then because I wasn't expecting anything with this game, but it turned out to be a really decent game and it just completely floored me. Like I was so surprised with how good it was. There's absolutely no reason why this game should be as good as it is. It's kind of like your generic PlayStation 3 third-person shooter, but there's enough in the game that makes you want to continue playing the game. You can hire different like gang members, mobsters, and they can fulfill certain roles. You can racketeer places. It's GTA-esque, But I think there is enough to kind of separate it from GTA. It doesn't follow the story beats of the Godfather 2 film, but there are some characters that retain their position within the narrative. So you will see familiar faces if you know The Godfather. So yeah, I am going to put this in strong recommend. Yes, if you've got a PS3 kicking about, I would honestly recommend going back and playing this game. The platinum is relatively easy. There are a few things that are missable, so like some of the collectibles, but if you always have a safe cracker guy in your little party, there shouldn't be a problem with the collectibles because you'll always have someone that can open it. And even so, you can go back to that place with a safe cracker like later on, so it's a non-issue. There was one thing that stumped me though, and I wish I knew this going into the platinum. So in this game, you can do certain executions. You can do like a multitude of different executions on mobsters, right? And it'll go towards this checklist and it'll tell you which ones you've done and which ones you haven't. In the end game, there's no enemy mobsters, right, that you can kill or fight, right? I was trying to do the executions on the police, but it wasn't going towards the execution checklist, meaning I had to do another partial playthrough, only doing the executions on mobsters. So just bear that in mind. That's one of the priority. That's one of the priority trophies that you should go towards if you're interested in platinuming this game. Yeah, I would wholeheartedly recommend this game. This is a hidden gem, dude. Yep. It Takes Two next. Brilliant co-op game. Me and Serena platinumed this. It didn't take us too long. It's a very forgiving game, and there's overtones of the force, and it gets a little bit dark in places, and the undertones as well about how a couple deals with like a struggling marriage. Like that was really bizarre to me. Like you never kind of see that in video games. So I did actually appreciate that. The game is quite easy. The puzzles are relatively easy. The platforming's fine. The combat's fine. Yeah. I liked the bosses. The bosses were pretty cool in the game, and the worlds as well, and how you interact with them. Yeah, a bunch of stuff to do and interact with, and you'll never be bored with the game if you're playing with someone that you know, like a good friend or a significant other. So yeah, strong recommend. Going Under. This is another massively underrated game. I don't see enough people playing or talking about this game. I think it's a great game. It's like a roguelike hack and slash game where you're a marketing intern and you use your environment to deal damage, so you can pick up chairs and like bizarre stuff like swords and guns and stuff. Yeah, it gets really wacky, and the enemies in the game are employees of different companies. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's obviously commentary on toxic workforces and management and just internships in general. I do appreciate this game actually, and it's got quite a unique narrative. The characters as well, you grow to really like some of the characters, and yeah, it's definitely an underrated game. The platinum, very easy. This is a very easy platinum. You can make it even easier if you want to by using assist mode, which increases like your invincibility frames and like your max HP and all of that kind of stuff, and possibly the amount of damage that you do, but don't quote me. Yeah, so you can make it even easier by doing that. And also there's a free DLC where they introduced a new mode called imposter mode. Just think of it like a hard mode, right? And yeah, and it basically made it so that you have more time with the game, with like basically new stuff to do. It's recycling, elements of the game, but I think it stands on its own as like a free kind of DLC, and it introduces like enough stuff for a free DLC. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, and there's also trophies with that free DLC, so just bear that in mind, and that will take you quite a bit of time because it's a little bit grindy, but I would say it's worth it. So going under is a strong recommend. I would definitely buy this game when it's on sale. I bought this game for like £7 or something, and for the amount of enjoyment I got with this game, it's definitely worth it, guys. Yeah, this is a sleeper game, man. It's just amazing. Curse of the Dead Gods, right? Oh gosh, if you watched my video about this game is so difficult, man, and I think people are kind of underplaying how difficult the game really is. The platinum involves RNG grinding. It involves you mastering the game, getting no hits on bosses, and that's including the final boss. And you just have to get so many no hit kills, man. It's ridiculous. And you have to replay like the same tempos over and over again because of how ludicrously high the goal is for beating these certain kinds of powered up enemies. It's like 50 for each powered up enemy, and the powered up enemies only appear later on in the temple, so you're just like rinsing the temple over and over again. It's crazy. It's a crazy grind, man. This is sitting at like an ultra rare, but it's like a low ultra rare. It's like 1% or something like that, and like undoubtedly it is. Let me actually just double check on my second monitor here if it is actually 1%. It's 1.52. Yeah, if the recording kind of messed up, my bad, guys. But yeah, so 1.5, that that it's crazy, and it's totally understandable why it's so low. Now I think the platinum, it's a really impressive platinum because it involves so much dedication to a game that kind of outstays its welcome a bit. I don't see a lot of people platinuming this game, and that reflects on the rarity percentage. Would it be a strong recommend? I don't know. This is a tricky one, man. It's definitely a recommend. I had fun with this game. But would I necessarily say that it's a strong recommend, like a must buy, must play? I got this through the monthly games. This is tricky. I think recommend, just because I'm doubting myself a little bit here. It is a fun game, but I would probably recommend maybe playing this game on Steam. I don't know if it's cheaper on Steam or basically like another platform, and you don't have to necessarily worry about the trophy side of things, and you can just play it when you want to and have like more of a relaxed time with the game. Because the trophy list definitely makes you stress out, and it was to the point with the RNG grind that I had to use cloud saves in case the enemy that I wanted didn't spawn. And if it didn't spawn, I would just revert to the cloud from the cloud save and just keep on going through that area until the enemy spawns. Yeah, so it's that kind of grinding. I didn't really like that part of the game. The only other time that I did cloud saves were on the final boss, but I made sure to do the no hit legitimately first time round and the final time, which was the fifth time. Yeah, some of the bosses as well, you have to get no hits for every boss except for the final boss. You have to get no hits 10 times on that boss, and there's a few that are quite tricky. So yeah, it makes the game kind of grindy, the platinum, in my opinion. So that's why I'm saying recommend. It's a good game. It's a really solid game, but the platinum is just a little bit mixed, in my opinion. It's very impressive, but I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it in good faith. So like recommend the platinum in good faith, but I recommend the game. If you're up for a challenge, I do recommend going for the platinum, but it just depends on your preference. It depends. A Way Out, very similar to It Takes Two. It's made by the same people. I think I kind of prefer this game over It Takes Two. I actually prefer the story in A Way Out. Yeah, it kind of hits the same co-op, importance. Like it's a co-op game and you need to play this with someone else that you know, because if you don't, I don't think you'll have as good of a time with the game. So yeah, it's kind of like the same situation as It Takes Two. It's a very solid game, and you will really like it if you play it with a friend. So keeping it nice and short with this one, strong recommend. Me and Serena played this, and again, very similar to It Takes Two, the platinum is very easy, very forgiving. If you miss anything in any of these games, by the way, so It Takes Two and A Way Out, you can use chapter select and go back and basically do whatever you need to do for the trophy, and it won't take you long at all. We played the game casually first time round, and then we came back through chapter select to do the other trophies. That only took us like not even an hour to do, so that was pretty impressive. So yeah, totally doable. I would definitely recommend this game. Very enjoyable with a friend. Heavenly Bodies next. Wow, all of these co-op games, man. This is pretty impressive. Yeah, so Heavenly Bodies, it's a frustrating game initially because that's how it's designed. If you have played games like Quap or games like Octodad, kind of like body physics based games, it's very similar. You will initially have a lot of problems with the controls, but if I'm being honest, it's actually, when you get used to it, it's really easy, man. It's actually an easy platinum in my opinion. So and that's only when you get familiar with the controls and you can do stuff consistently. And that might take you like a wee while, like some hours of practice, maybe just going through the game normally. There are collectibles in the game. There's like little challenges that you need to do. All of them were perfectly fine. Doing all of that in co-op was really fun. And with all of that in mind, strong recommend. Also got this game through PS Plus, and yeah, really good game. Really good game. Really short as well. So if you're into your short games, yeah, look at this game. It's very short, and when you get the hang of the controls, very easy. God of War 2018, yeah, very similar to Yakuza 0. What else do I need to kind of say about this game? It's hack and slash, reimagining, God of War as like, this burly, like, father figure, and you've got Atreus, tagging along, and yeah, it's a very good game, guys. Yeah, it's like your triple A kind of like seal of approval kind of game that, yes, you're basically guaranteed to have like this almost Hollywood kind of experience. The platinum itself, very doable, guys. Like, people were complaining about the birds in the game, and the birds are like the main collectible in the game. People were complaining that there were too many of them. Absolutely had no problem whatsoever getting the birds. Some of them are like in the open and you can just, get them with your axe, or you can hear them nearby, so you can just survey the area and see where they are every time you notice it. Not a problem. We only missed like a few birds, And in the post game you can go back and get the collectibles. You can, I'm pretty sure you can do everything in post game if you miss stuff, so that's really handy as well. Yeah, the platinum's pretty standard in my opinion, and the game itself is great. So strong recommend. I also did a video on this game, so if you're interested, go right ahead. Overcooked 2. Right. Yeah, so another co-op game. It was really strange when me and Serena played this game, because even Serena said this first. Serena actually preferred the original Overcooked to this game. And I was thinking that myself. I was thinking that to myself before she said it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, for whatever reason, like, I prefer the first game as well, and we couldn't have pinpoint what was actually wrong with the game, because on paper everything has improved, and you can argue that the levels are better as well, but there was just something about the game that just didn't click with us compared to the first one. Maybe it was because Overcooked, the original Overcooked, was kind of like a lightning in a bottle, and playing, a fuller scaled version of the game, the sequel, maybe took away from the magic a little bit. I don't know. It was really strange. The platinum itself, it is very doable, but in co-op, because you're naturally splitting duties between two people, the more grindier trophies you'll have to actually go into solo and do stuff on your own to get those trophies. So, like, for instance, doing like dishes, or what was the other one? Or like delivering the orders, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. If you play co-op in this game, you might have to go back and do like a solo kind of grind session that might take you, well, depending on, yeah, it just depends. It could take you only an hour, or it could take you much longer. So yeah, so it just all depends. I would say this is a recommend. It's not a strong recommend, and I feel a bit strange putting this in recommend, but I'm just seeing all of these games on strong recommend, and I have that figure of saying, yes, these games are a must play. And I just don't get that with Overcooked 2. If you're bothered with completion percentages as well, this game does have a lot of DLC, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna be buying the DLC anytime soon, if ever. So yeah, that's just gonna remain as only the platinum, basically, and I'm fine with that. Ape Escape, bro. Holy shit, man. I used to play this game on the PS1 back in the day, man. God, dude, this is just a strong recommend, man. This is my nostalgia talking. And I really like the Ape Escape franchise, and it's just such a shame that we've not had like a proper new Ape Escape in literal years. Like, I think it's like over a decade now, I'm pretty sure, or even longer. I don't even know now. But yeah, my personal favorite is Ape Escape 2. But in saying that, the third game I've only played like a handful of times. Well, I completed a handful of times. I've completed the other games, more than like 5 times. I really like the games. There's just something about it that I love. And this game, the platinum, is very easy. On top of that, you have the rewind feature. So if you fail a jump, you can rewind to seconds earlier and just nail the jump and stuff. Or if you die, you can rewind. Really forgiving. I decided not to use the rewind feature, just because I actually forgot that was in the game, if I'm being brutally honest. But either way, I think even if I knew that there was if I remembered the rewind, I think I would have not done it anyway. So yeah, like, either way, using rewind or not, it's still a very easy platinum, guys. Yeah, and you don't even need to get the true ending, because normally in Ape Escape games, you have to complete the game and then go through the levels again to collect all of the monkeys. and then you get the final like ending, the true ending. With this game, you don't even need to do that. You just need to beat the game, get certain collectibles, do certain things, play the mini games, and that's it, basically. Yeah, it's really easy and it's a strong recommend. People have complained that this game is dated. Guys, what do you expect? It's a PS1 game being ported over to PS4. Come on. And even having like the rewind features and like the little changes. Yeah, like I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's it's a strong recommend. Here's a big one. Death Stranding, man, my 40th platinum. Shouts to Sully for letting me borrow the game and then eventually giving me it because I really liked it. Thank you, man. Yeah, getting this platinum was a grind. I'm pretty sure it took me like almost 100 hours, if not 100. Maybe it was like 80 hours, 100 hours, something like that. Or maybe like 120. I can't remember. I did mention how long it took me to complete the game in my awards video. So if you want to, my platinum awards video of 2022, you can watch that to see how long this game took me and the other longer games in my list. But yeah, Death Stranding, what a phenomenal game, dude. This game is kind of like Marmite. Either you love it or you hate it. I love it, dude. Strong recommend. Yeah. Some parts are very Kojima big brain moments, right? And but even with that, there's like a certain charm to it. It's very video gamey, and at some points it takes itself seriously, sometimes it doesn't. The overall gameplay though, and the overall message is just great. It's a game that's not necessarily designed to be fun, but while doing the quote unfun stuff, you find purpose in doing the things that you're doing, and you do eventually make it fun for yourself. Yeah, and you can tackle things like a multitude of ways, and I love the progression in the game. Yeah, I love this game. The main trophy that you need to look out for is maxing out the connection levels of every facility. Some facilities will be quite hesitant to join the UCA, and you need to do certain things to kind of convince them to join the UCA. And when they do, the level up, happens and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, and you'll need to get max level on all of the facilities anyway, because that unlocks weapons and vehicles and structures, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, and those are other trophies that you need to get as well. So like getting, crafting every possible thing and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, you need, on top of that, you need to do a lot of deliveries. You need to do a lot of leveling up on your stats, and yeah, expect to deliver a lot of orders in this game. If I'm being honest, it was actually a really therapeutic experience, and I want everyone to experience this game at least once. Play it for a good couple of hours and see where you stand with the game, and then you can make your own choice if you want to continue. I would say if you're really hesitant about playing the game, I would say maybe play this on a second account, kind of like your burner account, just to see how you feel about the game. And if you really like it, then put it on your main account if you're precious about your trophy lists, or your completion. So yeah, that either way, strong recommend. Yeah, I love this game, man. One of the best games that I played. So last year, yeah, definitely. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, man. Gosh, this is another blast from the past, man. Wow. Revisiting this game was pretty brutal, if I'm being honest. Yeah, so this was a PS3 exclusive for the longest time, I'm pretty sure. The first Storm game. And I played the sequels, and I played this game on PS3 back on my old account when I was a teenager. And yeah, I did enjoy it back then, and I was really excited to revisit this game. Oh gosh, it's really rough, man. It's really rough, and going for the platinum was a bit grindy as well. Um, yeah, it's a bit rough. I have a soft spot for this game, but I'm thinking in terms of if you don't know Naruto, I'm thinking, will you enjoy the game if you don't know Naruto? And I think you won't like it if you don't know Naruto. So with that in mind, it's mid. I think you will find appreciation if you're a Naruto fan, and if you can look past the, you know, the harshness of the game, because it is just a bit dated now, man. It's just rough. It's just rough. The gameplay is just rough, man. Um, it's a nostalgic game for me. I enjoyed myself, but is it guaranteed that you will enjoy it? That's where things get a little bit messy. So I'm gonna leave it as a mid. It can go either way. You know, you can you can argue that it's a bad game. You can also argue that it's a recommend for like the Naruto fans out there. But yeah, I think mid is pretty honest in my opinion. Bloodborne. Wow, this game took me by surprise. I'm not a big Souls fan. I've tried Dark Souls in the past, and I tried Bloodborne in the past as well, but it just didn't gel with me. And when I eventually became a trophy hunter, I said to myself, I want to platinum at least one Souls game on my profile. And I chose Bloodborne just because I owned it already through, you know, PS Plus. Yeah, I definitely don't regret playing this game, man. What a game, dude. It's breathtaking. The world, man. Like Yarnum. God, man. It's so cool. Such a cool ass game, dude. Strong recommend. You already know how good this game is. And I had my reservations, you know. So, you know, I'm coming from a place where I'm not, you know, a die-hard Souls fan. I was kind of a novice with the game. I played some of the games, you know, specifically Dark Souls and Soulsborne, like Bloodborne, sorry. And I thought, right, I'm not gelling with the game. I'm actually not enjoying myself with the game. On paper, I should be loving this game, but I'm not. And I just put it on the shelf, basically. Coming back and giving the game a chance, it's just amazing, man. Yeah, there's nothing much else to say. I played 2 playthroughs, I'm pretty sure. One new game and one on New Game Plus. And that meant I was able to do all of the endings. I did 2 playthroughs because I managed to mess up the true ending, because I basically did stuff in reverse. I was doing everything blind, by the way. So I was doing everything blind, but I knew that there were going to be multiple endings. So I thought, right, the only thing that I'm going to look up is the third chords, and you need the third chords to unlock the final ending. But because I did stuff in reverse, basically I did one thing instead of that, and that thing instead of that. I couldn't get the chords, basically, so I had to do a second playthrough anyway. I wasn't complaining at all. It made an excuse to play the game again. So yeah, so that was great. Even, you know, not getting all of the endings in one playthrough, that was totally fine by me. Like through cloud save, like that was totally fine. The Chalice dungeons, I thought they were fine. People online have complained about the Chalice dungeons. I think for the platinum it's fine though. You just need to be prepared and be, you know, high level, and, you know, progress through the story, and you can even do some of the story parts, and then when you can do the Chalice dungeons like in between, like major boss battles, like you can do that if you want. So you can break the game up and not leave all of the Chalice Dungeon stuff till the end. Yeah, the hardest part of this was one of the Chalice Dungeons. I'm pretty sure it was like the Cursed or like the Defiled Chalice, where your HP is halved. And the hardest part of that was Amygdala. With my current build, literally, basically any attack would one-shot me. So I had to have a perfect Amygdala fight, and that was really stressful. Doing that legitimately and doing that like basically no hit was really satisfying. Yeah, so I think depending on your build as well, that fight could be much easier. But with my build, I was really struggling to get the hits in. So yeah, other than that, really good game, man. It's a must play. Such a good game. Okay, right. So going from the very top to absolute dumpster fire of a game, massively disappointing Borderlands 3. So we played this game a good couple of years ago solo. So I was watching Serena play and we were like taking turns playing this game solo because at the time I didn't have two controllers. I only had the one. This game in couch co-op, now I have two controllers, obviously. Couch co-op, this game is unplayable. Every other Borderlands game is completely fine. You can do couch co-op, but for whatever reason, this game is unplayable in couch co-op. Lag, glitches, slowdown. Literally, when you go into the inventory, the game freezes for like a split second. Whenever any player goes into their inventory, and you know Borderlands, you're gonna be going into your inventory a lot to manage your weapons and art, like your inventory and stuff. Really annoying. On top of that, in split screen, you cannot read anything. The text is too small. It's so poorly designed and optimized. Like it's embarrassing. It's so bad. Not even an hour into the game, when we met Ellie for the first time in Borderlands 3, the game crashed on the cutscene. Literally, the cutscene was meant to play. It freezes, blue screens, and that's when we decided, right, we have to play this game solo. We can't play it co-op. Massively disappointing. You can probably play online. I'm sure online is fine, but couch co-op on PS4 is actually ridiculous. I can't believe they got away with that, man. And on top of that, the DLC, if you think that I'm buying the DLC for this game and buying like the next level bundle or like the game of the year, there's so many bundles as well that's trying to swindle you out of money, dude. No. Avoid this game, man. It's totally embarrassing, man. Don't even get me started on the writing. The characters, they are so bad in this game. They are so unfunny. Like, it's not unfunny to be funny. They're just not funny. Yeah, that game got me vexed, man. Me and Serena really like playing Borderlands together, and that's part of the reason why we like Borderlands so much, just because of the couch co-op. And that was one of the best things in the original Borderlands, like the co-op and the multiplayer were the standout things of the game. So when you have that part of your game that people love and you just shit on it, of course you're gonna lose fans. I'm not supporting Borderlands anymore after that mess of a game, and I've heard that Wonderlands isn't great either for that kind of stuff. So I don't know what is going on, but yeah, massively disappointed in this game. Don't support Borderlands, man. If you really want to, buy the older games, but other than that, yeah, just avoid Borderlands 3. Don't give them money, man, please. Like, yeah. Cities, skylines. Okay, right. So this is a little bit of a challenging one as well. Me and Serena went over this game casually, and we then decided to platinum the game. And Serena was the one to get most of the trophies. She's really good at this game, and she has a lot of patience for these kinds of games, like City Skylines, and she's currently playing a game called Frostpunk, which is kind of similar, but it's like post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. Anyway, City Skylines. The PS4 port is actually not bad, but it's not great either. You would still want to play this game on PC, but even so, it's a decent game. It's actually a decent game. The platinum is a bit unforgiving though. And I'm not even talking about the DLC as well, because the DLC can be a bit RNG. The base game, there's a few trophies where we were scratching our heads. I'm pretty sure there's a trophy where you have to maintain 95 or above city happiness for like 5 years, and 5 years in real time is like a couple of hours. It's like 3 hours or something. So you need to maintain that level of happiness for like a long period of time. That was a challenge. There was also tax related stuff where you had to have like double or like half of the taxes for like a period of time. It was a thing. The grindiest one though, this trophy shot us in the foot, dude. 1001 nights. You need to experience 1001 nights in the game. You would think that a night would happen at the end of every in-game day. No. It happens like every 2 weeks or a month or something, and it's like one big night for like the month or whatever, and you have to experience 1001 of those. And remember, I said that I actually don't know if I said this. I definitely thought this. I milled it over in my head, but we played on the day cycle casually before platinuming the game. So at that point, we had not experienced any nights, and we had already played the game casually for hours and hours at that point. So yeah, that took us a long time to get that trophy, and that was the last trophy that we needed for the platinum. Thankfully, it finally popped, and we've got the platinum. Yep. So, with all of that in mind, yeah, some of the trophies are brutal. You need to do like really specific stuff, and if you're not prepared to get any of the DLC, there's a bunch of DLC in this game, man. Then your completion percentage might tank a little bit if you care about that. The platinum is a challenge, and it's genuinely impressive. So it's a hard one, man. I'm gonna put it in recommend, but this can easily be like a mid. This is probably like a low recommend, just because of how kind of grindy it is, and some of the stuff is quite unforgiving as well, and because it's a PlayStation version of like a PC game basically, and yeah, historically games like that haven't really performed well on console. So, but even with that in mind, it does do some stuff well. So take that as you will. Gosh, I feel like I've been talking for ages, man. Cuphead next. Yes, this is such a love letter to like old-timey cartoons and brutally hard games. Kind of like Contra or like shmups and all that kind of stuff. The music is fantastic in this game. great, great jazz music, high octane gameplay, really, really impressive bosses. This is like a glorified boss rush game, but there are like platform levels sprinkled in. But the main thing are the bosses. The platinum, I'm pretty sure this is an 8 out of 10 difficulty platinum. And I would say that's pretty spot on. It's a challenge, man. Yeah, you are expected to practice this game a lot to get it nailed down. And the platinum expects you to be an absolute beast on the game. So I really liked this game. I really, really liked it. I think the platinum was challenging, but it was a fair challenge. I'm going to put in a strong recommend. That, you know, the whole experience was just great. Yeah, strong recommend. Great game. Must play. Must buy. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yep. This is one of the more recent ones that I've done. Yep. So we're on the last 5 here, guys. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, but this game makes me want to become one. This game is fantastic. I loved the characters. Barrett for life, dude. He was an absolute legend in the game. He was probably my favorite character. The story, I liked the story. There were some slow parts in the game, and I just kind of wanted to get it. You know, it's just like, come on, let me just get this. Specifically the bridal outfits. Yeah, you have to replay the game, you know, to get like different outfits, and you know, it's like certain choices. And yeah, I would say for this game, you're more likely to be glued to a guide than other games, just because of certain things like the bridal outfits and even like the enemy like skill materia things, even the side quests as well. When I casually completed the game years ago, I did all of the side quests, but I didn't realize that wasn't all of the side quests. There's a second set of quests that can be unlocked in a certain chapter, and the trophy to complete all quests only unlocks when you complete those sets, that set of quests as well. And on top of that, you need to complete the game on hard mode. You can only unlock hard mode when you complete the game. Oof, yeah. How I tackled this was I played the game casually back in, I'm pretty sure it was 2020. And then when I came back to the game this year, I just went straight into hard mode and I watched all of the cutscenes back. It was like I was playing the game for the first time, but yeah, it was a really fun time, man. Really fun time. Loved the characters, loved the story, and I'm really excited for what they have next in store. So, strong recommend. Oh, Mighty number 9, man. Mighty number 9. God, I cannot believe I've got this platinum. I actually can't believe it. Wow. This game is hot trash, man. The platinum is sitting at like a 0.5% or something. It's something ridiculous. Let me just double check. Okay, so 0.76%. So under 1% of players have the platinum. Right, okay. Yeah, so the game is hot trash. I think everyone knows that. There was a lot of drama about the game and its funding and all of that kind of stuff. If we just base our opinion on the game itself is just not great. It's not really a spiritual successor to Mega Man. It's not as good as Mega Man. But, yes, but I've probably played the game more than most, because the platinum involves you to basically master the game. Yeah. That's nothing to brag about, but because I've played the game a lot and I can speedrun the game in under an hour and all of that kind of stuff, and I can do no death runs and anyway, there is something here, but it's just not polished. And like the vision just kind of died out for the game. And it's quite a sad situation because there is something good here. There's certain points when you get familiar enough with the mechanics, there is something there, but how it's implemented in the game, it's questionable, right? The level design is one of the big things in the game. Like the low hanging fruit would be like the writing of the game, the voice actors, the graphics, even the visual effects, all of that kind of stuff. The text as well, it looks like clip art. It just looks really bad. But I think the main issue with the game is the level design. The level design can be, for some levels, can be really, really bad and borderline unfair. With Mega Man, there were unfair parts, but it's a strange one, man, because I think that was kind of like a different kind of unfairness. I don't know how to word it, man. I don't know how to word it, but Mighty Number 9 was kind of needlessly unfair, in my opinion, like instant death unfairness. And I am saying all of this and properly, butchering this game, but I wouldn't necessarily avoid the game. It's definitely a bad game. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's hot trash, and you probably shouldn't play the game. But do I have that same feeling of disappointment with the bottom 3 games in a void? Not necessarily. Like, when I got good at this game, there were moments of fun and like genuine like proudness when I was mastering mechanics. So I'm going to put it in bad. It's a bad game, and the platinum's hard as well. Like, it expects you to be really good at it expects you to be really good at a game that is hot trash, right? So that's why the rarity is so low. So yeah, it's a bad game. And somehow I have the platinum. Yeah, I can't believe I've got the platinum for that, man. I am actually crazy. Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. Yes, we bought this game out of our massive disappointment with the third game, and it's a night and day difference. This game is so much better in basically every regard. It's really nostalgic for me playing this game. I used to play this game a lot back on Xbox 360, and it's a great game. It's the same game that I remember, and it's really nice to play with Serena this time around in couch co-op. Absolutely no problems with co-op. I think there were like a few glitches here and there, but they were really sporadic. Like, like they were kind of like they weren't consistently glitching on us. So one of the biggest glitches, though, one of the funniest ones was we were in the car and I was driving to the next area, and it's like a massive door, right? And I was just driving into the door to crash, right? I was just going to crash into this and just go into the straight into the next area. We go straight through the door, and we go out of bounds, and we just fall to our deaths, dude. Yeah, so that was a really funny glitch, but it's not like, it's not game breaking. Like, we've not had game breaking stuff or, experiences that severely negatively affect our experience of the game. With all of that in mind, It includes all of the DLC as well, the PS4 version, which is quite handy, and we will eventually do all of the DLC. We did the Zombie Ned DLC, and that was quite fun to do in co-op. And the next DLC we'll do is I think it's General Knox, the General Knox DLC, and I've never played that before, so that'll be really fun. Yes, all of that in mind, strong recommend. Yes. Borderlands 3, dude, such a disappointment, dude. But Borderlands salvaged it. Yep. Life is Strange next. Yes, so me and Serena went over this game. We played it together, and it was fun kind of choosing, what choice and what thing to do in each scenario. The platinum is very easy. We did the game. We just casually played through the game and then went back to do the collectibles, and that's how we got the platinum. Very easy platinum, very short as well. There's nothing really much else to say about the game, because if I say more stuff, it will go into kind of spoiler territory, and this is kind of like a narrative game, kind of like a Telltale styled game, so I don't want to spoil anything. If you're interested in, your narrative games like Telltale, then I would probably say it's a recommend. It's a very easy, short platinum, and I think you'll probably get something out of it. Some of the stuff can be a little bit cringe, and some of the things can be quite dark out of nowhere. So, yeah, that was a little bit strange, but overall, it was a good experience, man. And to get like a little platinum out of it, yeah, you can't complain. Last but not least, guys, Persona 5 Royal. I made sure that this game was going to be my 50th platinum. I've talked so much already about the other games, and now we get to Persona 5 Royal. So this game means a lot to me. Well, specifically the vanilla version, Persona 5, because that's what jump-started my trophy hunting journey, right? Version with new content, new mechanics, new personas, new confidants, little adjustments here and there. I just really enjoyed the experience. It's kind of similar to the way that I was talking about Life is Strange, because if I start talking more, then I'm gonna go into spoiler territory. Yeah, it's. I would probably say Persona 5 Royal is better than the vanilla Persona 5, in my opinion. So, yeah, I would say this is definitely a strong recommend. Definitely. 100%. What a game, man. What a game. Like, I'm really trying to, like, I just can't believe how good that game was, man. Like, if I say anything more, I'm gonna go into spoilers. I might make a dedicated video for this game because I want to talk more about the game in general. So yes, this was my first 50 platinums ranked, ranking the 25 most recent, and I think this might be a regular thing to do. So every time that I get 25 new platinums, I'll rank them. I think that would be quite cool to have that in amongst the other videos. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.